Hey everyone, it's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to my interview with Becca. Hi.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Of course, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I mean, I really have to start the interview off with the most important question of all. What makes the scrunchie so special?
Obviously, we're in like a scrunchie craze right now, and they've come back, and they're just so soft and fashionable. And yeah, honestly, hair ties are just uncomfortable. That's like the biggest thing for me is the
Mhm.
comfort. Like hair ties are uncomfortable for me, and that's kind of like how I started wearing scrunchies. And yeah, they're so cute.
So I absolutely love scrunchies, and I started using these things as well because I'm the same way. I have stupidly thick hair. I tried using those old ones, like the actual hair ties, and they suck. They actually like will cut off your circulation on your arm, and people don't get it. So I genuinely appreciate the fact that you are putting these scrunchie over because it is long overdue.
I agree so much.
How
I
many
have
do
some
you?
of those too.
Amazing. I mean, how many
Yeah.
scrunchies do you think you actually have at this point?
Um, I've like lost track. I have a lot. At this point I have like different scrunchies for different gear.
Mhm.
So I have like specific scrunchies that I just wear in the ring. That like yeah, I didn't used to do that. And so yeah, I have like a ton just for wrestling. And then I have like a drawer full at home. Like yeah, I couldn't even say I collect them. Like if I see some at the store that I think are cute, I'll just grab them. So just like grows every week. Every time I go to Target, I get like four more. It's like
It's
bad.
impressive. Well, I have to say, I appreciate you bringing me into your world a little bit more. I feel like I'm kind of officially a part of the Scrunchy Squad now that you're on my show. So thank you for that.
Honored to have you, honestly.
Thank you. Well, when it comes to the wrestling, I have to say you give one of the best big boots just every single time, like smack dab in the face. So, what enticed you to make that one of your signature moves in your arsenal?
um Honestly, I don't really remember when I first started doing it.
Mhm.
um I think I saw maybe Armani Chaos. We trained together, and he did like a combo with the big boot. And yeah, I guess he inspired me because I just loved how he did it, and I
Yeah.
started to do it myself, but like a slightly different way. And yeah, it works, so I just kept doing it, and now I always do one if I can.
It looks absolutely vicious. Sometimes you see people trying to throw them or even with super kicks and like they're just so far off and you just hit it every time. And I was wondering, there was a gift that I saw through your feed the other day. I just watched it on loop. I was like, I do not want to be that opponent. But you've had such a great year between some super fun matches at Beyond, becoming a champion at Chaotic, crushing it at Shimmer, and also debuting at AEW. So how wild was it getting that AEW call? And not only that, but getting booped.
Yeah, it was a really wild year. It's interesting because I had like a list of things I wanted to do this year, and then like a list of things that I just wanted to do like in general. For example, like Shimmer, that's always been a goal of mine, but I did not think that was going to happen this year. So that was just really exciting because it really like I want to say it came out of the blue because like obviously worked to get oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Worked to get like the opportunity. But it was just a really awesome thing that happened this year that I wasn't expecting. And yeah, so that was just yeah, really big highlight of this year. Same for AEW. I like had on my goals for this for 2021 to have like an AEW dark match. So when I got the email, I was really excited. And I went back a couple times. The first time I went, I wasn't given a match. And the second time I went, I was able to work with Chris Statlander, which was really awesome. So I guess persistence is important and like not giving up and like
Yes.
yeah.
No, 100%. We kind of name dropped a couple of the companies there, and I'm really glad that you mentioned that list because, of course, we are going into a new year. It's 2022, which is absolutely wild to say out loud. So, is there kind of any names or anything in specific that you would just really love to continue checking off that bucket list? Because it sounds like you're really driven and focused, and I love that.
Yeah, I would really I think Impact has like an incredible women's division, and I would love to be able to work for them. Um, so that's definitely on my list. In terms of like Indies, Mission Pro, I think is really awesome. They have like an incredible roster of women, and I would really love to be able to work with some of the talent that they have. And yeah, I think their shows are great. So that's definitely on my list for 2022. And yeah, there MLW also has like a growing women's division, which is really exciting. So that's also on my list. Yeah, those are kind of like the big ones. I'd really just like also to just like travel a little more. I feel like I mostly work in New England and like New Jersey, New York. But I think there's a lot of really great talent in the Midwest. And then like on the West Coast, would really like to get out and work with some of them. I know I have a match coming up in January with Sandra Moon, which I'm really excited about. She's from Vegas. So that's really cool to get to work with somebody from like a different area of the country.
Right.
And I'd like to just continue to do that in 2022 and like work with people from around the world, around the country, and just kind of expand.
It's interesting because sometimes it's not really about where you go in terms of promotions. Like you could literally have the best match of your life on a show with like 200 people for a company that's still growing, and just hearing how open you are to things like that, and also having those big goals too. It's exciting, especially knowing how many of them you crushed throughout 2021. So I'm sure a lot of check marks are going to be coming your way.
Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. Now, something that I find really cool is you're, of course, a self-coined e-girl, but also pop star. And those two things really do go hand in hand for me. So who are some of your favorite pop stars?
Yeah, honestly, my biggest musical influence and the biggest like pop star in my mind is Sophie. And unfortunately, Sophie passed away, I think, a few years ago. So shout out to Sophie, huge musical influence. And just I've never met Sophie, obviously, but a person who had like a huge impact on my life. Also Jojo Siwa. I love Jojo Siwa. I think she's just like a great role model, so fun, so positive, so authentic. And I think that's something really rare in like the mainstream music world. I also love Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we all love Dua Lipa.
I know. She's just, yeah, she's great.
That's amazing. I mean, it's interesting because when you think of pop, it can be taken in so many different directions. And I couldn't help but notice that you actually quoted Courtney Barnett lyrics before, and she is amazing. I saw her live and interviewed her years ago. She was so good. So it just kind of sparked an idea to ask you, what are some of the best concerts that you've been to?
Oh, wow. That's such a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I used to be really, but before I got into wrestling, I was like much more into music. Obviously, I still listen to a lot of music, but I was like really into music. Like I would go to shows like every weekend. And yeah, so this is a good question. I do, okay. I want to say I saw Dua Lipa open for Lana Del Rey like
Okay.
several years ago. I think that was Lana Del Rey.
Clearly
And
you were there for Dua.
well, okay, no, I actually didn't know her at the time because this was like
Oh.
before I think like her big like breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember like sitting watching like the opening acts and like seeing this girl. I was like, who is this girl? Like her outfits are amazing. And I was just like her like dancing, her presence, everything. That whole concert was really great. I really loved that. I'm trying to think of like other ones. I have like a very diverse music taste, so I'm not sure. Oh, I saw I I studied in South Korea for a little bit,
Amazing.
and I saw Kendrick Lamar in Seoul. It was
Oh,
like the
wow.
wildest experience. Yeah, so that's probably the coolest concert. Now that I remember, yeah, that's definitely the coolest one I've been to. Because I was literally like on the other side of the world seeing like one of my favorite artists. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so that really reminds me. I was working this show in Finland, and I got to see Kiss, and Kiss are one of my favorite bands of all time. So just kind of knowing exactly the experience you had of being somewhere foreign, you're there for something really cool. Like that's just it's the most surreal feeling in the world, right?
Yeah, it was really bizarre.
Oh, that's so neat. So, well, the last thing I wanted to ask you today, Becca, is simply other than the scrunchie, what is a must have or must wear other accessory?
Ooh, oh, man, that's good. I'm gonna say glitter. I'm
Ooh,
really into glitter. Yeah.
okay.
I
Can't go
just
wrong.
bought like a bunch of like glitter from ColourPop. They have like a bunch of like different colors and stuff. Highly recommend.
It's the cheapest, but the quality's the best. Like I'm obsessed
It's so
with
good.
glitter. This is great. I feel like we're gonna continue talking after this interview, Becca. Like you're
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time for coming on here. It's been great being able to learn a little bit more about you. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's
Of
really fun.
course. To everyone watching, this has been the lovely Becca. Be sure to check out aliciatoot.com for plenty more exclusive interviews and features, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.